What if I told you that in 2025, one of the most iconic fairy tales in cinematic history was absolutely wrecked at the box office by a movie based on a pixelated sandbox video game? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what just happened. The Minecraft movie, the film adaptation of a game with no plot, no characters, and no dialogue, just steamrolled over Disney's live-action Snow White remake. And in the middle of this entertainment earthquake is none other than Rachel Zegler, an actress who went from being hailed as Hollywood's next big thing to becoming one of the most controversial faces in film media today. This isn't just a case of one movie outperforming another. This is a massive cultural shift. What we're witnessing is the public standing up and saying, "Hey Hollywood, we've had enough." Today, we're unpacking the wild success of Minecraft, the spectacular downfall of Snow White, Rachel Zegler's PR disaster, and what this all means for the future of entertainment. Grab your popcorn because this story is way juicier than you think. The numbers don't lie, and in this case, they tell a story of complete domination. The Minecraft movie smashed all expectations with a $150 million opening weekend in the US alone. Not only is that a staggering figure for a video game adaptation, but it also makes it one of the highest openings of the year, even beating out major Marvel and DC entries. In contrast, Disney's Snow White remake limped out of the gate with just $32 million. And the bad news didn't stop there. Week 2 saw a 60% drop in ticket sales, making it clear this wasn't just a weak debut, it was a full-blown box office bomb. Even more embarrassing, Snow White was overtaken by smaller films, including an indie sleeper hit called Working Man. Let that sink in. A billion-dollar studio with the world's most famous princess lost out to a movie that didn't even have national advertising. The fairy tale was dead, and the audience buried it. Hollywood insiders were stunned. Studio execs scrambled. Analysts called it a catastrophic misread of the market. And audiences? They were too busy laughing their way through Minecraft's chaotic, hilarious, unapologetically goofy adventure to even notice Disney's newest disappointment. It wasn't always like this for Rachel Zegler. Just a few years ago, she was being celebrated as a fresh, young talent with a golden voice and a bright future. Her breakout in West Side Story earned her praise from critics, directors, and audiences alike. So when Disney cast her as Snow White, one of the most iconic characters in cinematic history, it seemed like a no-brainer. But then, the interviews started. Rachel Zegler began giving statements about Snow White that rubbed people the wrong way. She called the 1937 original weird, said the prince was a stalker, and dismissed the romantic storyline altogether, claiming this new version of Snow White would be a leader, not someone who needs saving. Now, nobody's saying it's wrong to modernize a character, but Zegler's tone came off as condescending, almost as if she was mocking the source material and the people who loved it. What made matters worse was how dismissive she seemed toward criticism. Instead of acknowledging the backlash with humility or grace, Zegler doubled down, turning her promotional tour into a series of awkward, viral soundbites. Clips of her interviews started circulating online, quickly becoming meme fodder. TikTok parodies exploded, YouTubers roasted her, and Twitter, merciless. Suddenly, Snow White wasn't just a movie. It became a symbol of everything people felt was wrong with modern Hollywood. Out-of-touch messaging, preachy storytelling, and actors who act like they're too good for the roles they've taken on. And whether she meant to or not, Rachel Zegler had become the face of it all. While Snow White was digging its own grave, Minecraft was out here building castles, literally and figuratively. No one expected the Minecraft movie to be this big. Sure, the game has over 140 million active players and an entire generation raised on creepers and redstone, but turning that into a coherent film? That sounded like a reach. But what Warner Brothers did was brilliant. They didn't overcomplicate things. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They made a movie that embraced the goofy, chaotic, joyful spirit of the game and let Jason Momoa carry it with charisma, humor, and just the right amount of ridiculousness. It was colorful, it was loud, it was funny, and most importantly, it was fun. The plot? Simple. The characters? Lovable. The action? Non-stop. It was the perfect family film, packed with jokes for kids, nostalgia for adults, and plenty of Easter eggs for the hardcore fans. Critics weren't thrilled, the Rotten Tomatoes score hovered below 50%, but audiences loved it. They gave it a glowing 87%, and more importantly, they showed up in droves. It became a cultural moment, not just a successful film, but a celebration of imagination. Minecraft proved that you don't need to preach, pontificate, or politicize to make a great movie. Sometimes you just need to make something people actually want to see. This is where things get interesting, and kind of troubling for the industry. If you looked only at critic scores, you'd think Minecraft was mediocre and Snow White was passable. But go to any theater, social media feed, or YouTube comment section, and you'll find a very different story. Audiences are tired of being talked down to. They're tired of being told what to like, and they're sick of every classic story being rewritten with a message shoved down their throat. It's not about being anti-progress or anti-change, it's about authenticity. Audiences can feel when a movie is trying too hard to be important instead of just being entertaining. Critics, stuck in their echo chambers, missed this shift completely. And while they wrote glowing think pieces about Snow White's reimagining, the people they were writing for were buying tickets to Minecraft. This is the new divide, and it's only getting wider. Let's not sugarcoat it. Rachel Zegler's comments hurt Snow White. Not because she voiced an opinion. Opinions are fine, but because she managed to alienate the exact audience the movie was supposed to charm: families, Disney fans, and people who grew up loving the original. The problem wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. Dismissing beloved characters, laughing off the idea of romance, treating a classic fairy tale as something outdated and cringeworthy. It all created a sense of distance, a barrier between the movie and its potential fans. Add in the fact that the marketing leaned into this new and improved Snow White, one that didn't need a prince, didn't want love, and didn't care about tradition. And you have a recipe for rejection. In an age where people are desperate for joy and nostalgia, Snow White offered neither. Instead, it felt like a lecture. And Zegler, whether she meant to or not, became the professor. At the heart of this whole saga is a deeper issue, one that's been brewing for years. Hollywood has become obsessed with reinventing everything. Every classic must be modernized, every old story must be flipped on its head, and every beloved franchise must carry the burden of saying something important. But what if audiences don't want that? What if people just want to laugh, cry, feel something, and escape the chaos of real life for 2 hours? Movies like Minecraft, Super Mario Bros., and Barbie are proving that escapism isn't just a guilty pleasure, it's essential. And when done right, it can also be wildly profitable. Meanwhile, studios that keep chasing the approval of critics and cultural commentators are losing touch with the people who actually buy the tickets. The Minecraft vs. Snow White box office battle wasn't just about two films, it was a referendum on two completely different philosophies of storytelling. That brings us to the big question. Is Rachel Zegler's career over? The answer? Probably not. Hollywood loves a comeback, and Zegler is undeniably talented. She's young, she can sing, she can act, and she still has supporters in the industry, but she's going to have to make some serious changes. The next steps she takes will define whether she rebounds or becomes a cautionary tale. A smart move? Take a break from divisive roles. Work on something lighthearted, maybe even self-aware. Stay out of the headlines. Reconnect with fans. Show that she understands the criticisms and is willing to grow from them. Because right now, fair or not, she represents a brand of entertainment people are growing increasingly frustrated with. And if she doesn't shake that image, it could stick for a long, long time. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Minecraft didn't just beat Snow White, it buried it. Not because it had better marketing, not because it had a bigger star, but because it gave audiences what they wanted: fun, adventure, and joy. Snow White, despite its legacy and billion-dollar backing, failed because it forgot who it was for. It tried to be a message. Minecraft just tried to be a movie. And in the end, that's all people wanted. Hollywood, are you listening? Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.